Hello students, this is the third session and third unit of this .NET program. This session we discuss about this introduction to data access in .NET, ADO.NET, data access in Visual Studio.NET, Windows Forms, especially the two type of controls, base controls, so many controls, and specific controls. Introduction to data access in .NET. This topic, first of all, we discuss about the history of Microsoft Data Access. The variety of applications brings within the needs to access the manipulate and equally diverse array of data sources and formats. Although data access has typically been associated with relational database such as structured query language server, SQL Server, and Oracle, the rise of the internet and a computing environment built on much more open standards has brought about the need to think of data in a much more abstract format, such as that provided by XML, Extensible Markup Language. So this is this any type of real-time data being accessed from backend tools. Especially there are traditional database access technology. ODBC is a Open Database Connectivity, Visual Basic 3.0 version, JetBrains Engine, Direct Access Object DAO, Visual Basic 4.0 version, Visual Basics combined with SQL, Remote Data Object RDO, Object Linking Embedding Database, that is OLEDB, and then VB Visual Basic 6.0, that is another oldest version. Another one, Activist Data Object, Record Sets. Data access today. Today's application target a web server environment with possibly thousands of disconnected users who perform updates to one or more backend databases. This web-based environment has been built heavily on a large number of industry adapted standards such as Transmission Control Protocol with Internet Protocol, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, Hypertext Markup Language, and Extensible Markup Language. The adaptation of standards such as these has allowed the Internet and the application built upon the Internet to essential transcend beyond a single platform or development tools. Visual Basic and Internet. These are very important applications running on a large number of identical servers. Another one for data access today, Enterprise Application Integration, that is EAI. And next topic for an overview of ADO.NET. With the release of ADO.NET in this .NET framework, Microsoft has provided not only an object model and the infrastructure to facilitate data access, but also a complete new mindset for data access that different from anything previously available. Today, the ADO.NET is simply how to be derived from the data access is XML equal to data or data equal to XML. And ADO.NET or structures datasets, that means dataset object model to be a different type of data sets table, data row, data column, and then data sets connections and etc. With the connection with XML schema, another structure structure language from extensible markup language, that is real-time tags data sets. Next, data provider. The different type of data providers are there. ADO.NET. Accessing the four different top subsections for ADO.NET. Accessing ADO.NET features and namespace using ADO.NET data providers and datasets. Accessing data ADO.NET features and namespace. ADO.NET objects are provided as part of the base classes of the .NET framework. They can be made available to a Visual Basic .NET program by adding reference to the system dot data dot DLL. DLL means dynamic link library from within your application. Adding a reference to an application can be done in variety of ways, but the easiest is probably to right click the resources folder of your project under the Solution Explorer window. After doing this, the context menu appears in which you may select this add reference. From the following dialog box, you may add the reference to the system.data.dll by selecting it from the list of .NET components. This one is how to be created for this the type of ADO.NET features in this the particular namespace is called system.data.dll. There are two connectivity of this data, especially SQL client and OLEDB. In this data namespaces will come to ADO.NET. Namespace is system.data. This description is this namespace contains all major components of the dataset object model. System.data.SQL types, a collection of Microsoft SQL Server specific data types. System.data.SQL client is a Microsoft SQL Server specific data provider. System.data.OLEDB, a managed data provider optimized of object linking and embedding database provider. System.data.ODBC, a managed data providers optimized for open database connectivity drivers. Next, providers interface and objects. Object-based interface, SQL Server providers and OLB providers. There are five important objects used to connect it for ADO.NET: connection, command, data reader, data adapter, another transaction. Base interface IDB connection, IDB command, data reader, data adapter, IDB transaction. The two important provider to be connected to the ADO.NET, one is SQL Server, another one OLEDB provider. All the connection will come to SQL connection, SQL command, SQL data reader, SQL data adapter, SQL transaction. Here, OLEDB connection, OLEDB command, OLEDB data reader, OLEDB data adapter, OLEDB transactions. How to be this link with the common connections location for to create it for this simple commands. Create a connections object settings. The location is constructors based on this type of coding, based on this data source, initial catalog, and then user ID. There are here two connections will be located here to be connected. Commands and the data reader object is very important. Simply this as a query language is using from select query, select as symbol from customer means select all the rows and columns to be selected in this particular information about this customer. That is a special reader, data reader. That is another reader to be linked to what type of execute is this reader to all the reading information from a particular location of this commands. SQL command. SQL command should be read for all the data sets or data rows will come to this particular information. Here this right line data reader to be display of this all the records in this particular table customers. Next, data access in Visual Studio.NET. Visual Studio.NET databases stores the nodes in this server. Explorer windows are presented in two separate sections. One is data connection, other is server. The data connection sections will come to regularly what type of data connection, what type of explorer, what type of the manipulation for underlying this, read and writing and retrieving for storing and retrieving from this particular data in this underlining for this data objects. Next, server section will be allowing this connection to this remote server and program against a variety of services that may be available such as web services. So these are this examples for the designers for tables, how to be linked with the database tables from directly within this integrated development environment. Next one, there's this connection query builders.NET, which is graphically how to constructing for the SQL queries and views. Window forms. A form is just a class. The class components will be connected with the properties and the methods. Or that is the same thing that forms class to be provided from the different the type of graphical user interface format. A window in its crudest form is an enclosed rectangular area of the screen. It is typically defined by a bounding rectangle, visible or not. and often contains data or other windows. By this definition, not only are forms windows, but controls are windows as well. So in this is a forms to essentially the most important control in your respiratory as a graphical user interface developer. The form is a canvas upon which the paint and controls requires the end user to accomplish their goals of data entry, system administration, software development, or any number of infinity tasks. The left side there is form, basic the Windows form. Right hand side the Windows form answer tree, that is control, scrollable control, container control. The in tree structure format, this container control is having forms and user controls. The important things is top 10 reasons why a window forms is better than Visual Basic older version 6 forms. Reverse order, first 10. A Windows form has twice as many properties and methods as an old form. In 9th one, a Windows forms can easily contain a dockable toolbar. 8th one, Windows forms are opaque until they are not. 7th one, you can capture the mouse wheel with the greatest of ease. 6th one, there is now an object-oriented approach for graphics. 5th one, all border styles are available to you at any time via the form border style property. 4th one, auto scroll is not just German parchment. 3rd one, a window form can anchor like a sailor. 2nd one, you don't need no stinking tips. And the first one, in the Windows Forms framework, a form is just a class. And next we'll move to controls. Understanding this delegates are the foundation of events in the .NET framework. In its simplest form, a delegate is function pointer that allows a function to be called indirectly via a reference to that function. The concept of delegates can be seen everywhere in normal life. For example, purchasing stocks or bonds typically requires a delegate of some sort. Properties of each and every delegates, different type of access modifiers, public, private, protected, and shared, inherited. These are these delegates will be involved in this members and the properties is very important role for all the type of controls. And the same thing events is also with the functions or method to be provided with a different type of controls. Examples of delegates, here this is delegates public class investor, defining the delegated in the manner allows for reuse for all events that have the same signature. You could also this 600 other event like this if you felt that they were necessary. So here this writing example for making purchasing and sales here from the delegates are using to repeated in manner. Understanding this foundation of controls, understanding properties, methods, and even common to all controls. These are these important things to be connected in this control concept. Next, each and every control to be linked over to the specific controls. Understanding this foundation of controls, understanding derived controls, defining input control, defining display control, defining dialog controls, defining other controls, that is miscellaneous control, using actual controls. This first one is base controls. A number of classes derived from the controls object that that although not able to instance encapsulate behavior, that is the foundation of many controls in the framework. So some type of base controls: button base, list control, scrollable control, menu, scroll bar, text box bar, base, container control, up down base. These are the control to relevant with the particular members or properties to be linked with the particular each and every base controls. Derived controls. This section outlines all controls that I consider input controls. I define these input controls as one that respond to user input and or returns a value. So button, checkbox, checklist box, combo box, context menu, data grid, datetime picker, domain up down, H scroll bar and V scroll bar, list box, list view, main menu, month calendar, numeric up down, property grid, radio button, rich text box, timer, toolbar, trackbar, preview. All these methods, controls methods, and then properties of this all the members to be listed in this table format. In detail, in this we are explaining your tutorials, materials of your chapter selection part. Next, display controls. This section outlines all the controls that I consider to be display control. I define a display control as one that neither takes user input beyond the standard Windows messages nor return a value. So form, the different type of forms, group box, label, link label, panel, picture box, progress bar, splitter, status bar, tab control, and tool tip. These are this be very, very important link to all the type of display controls, whether this members and properties to be listed in this table for detailed tutorial materials. Next, dialog controls. I define a dialog control as one that spans a new window and return the value. There is common dialog, color dialog, file dialog, font dialog, open file dialog, page setup dialog, printed dialog, save file dialog. These members and the properties to be detailed in this table format in tutorials format. Miscellaneous control. I define miscellaneous controls as one that does not fit into any of these affirmation categories. Only the image list control is included in this category, and that is example for image list control. So this link details in this all the controls very, very important to making a new ADO.NET and then VB Visual Basic, that is window application and console application and as well as web application.